Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday evening frequency meditation. Hope we're doing really awesome today. Whether you're listening to this live or on a recording. So tonight is it's not part two, but it's connected to last week. It's a build on, but it can stand separate. Last Sunday, something started loosening for those who were in the room. Something in the body began seeing the pattern in real time. The departure, the moment awareness leaves the body, follows the thought into prediction, rehearsal, replay. We escape. Kind of like that moment that the chest tightens and the mind arrives half a second later and calls a whole movement identity. That recognition was the first transmission we did, and tonight's the second. Because once someone sees the departure clearly, once the body catches itself leaving, the question naturally arises underneath it all. Why does this keep happening? Why, even after years of work, self-improvement, events, courses, after all the insight, after everything that's been understood and processed and released, why does the pattern still return? So just take a breath in right now. Notice where you are. Notice your spine. That center point in behind the eyes, your sphere. Just hang out here right now, just for tonight's session. There's nothing else expected of you. So you can step down, be in the present moment. Just really just release any expectations that we always have on ourselves. So again, that question, why does this pattern keep returning? And most people answer that question the same way. They decide they haven't healed enough yet. They're still messed up. They're still incomplete. Some go to the extreme, still not good enough in the eyes of God. All that stuff, that nonsense. And so the projection continues. More clearing, more processing, more working on ourselves. We're still a work in progress. One day my life is going to start. When that happens, I'm still in that dress rehearsal. Well, if any of you are out there like me in my stage of life in the 60s, that dress rehearsal better end, because there's not that much long for the show. So the finish line keeps moving forward. And the nervous system, that other intelligence that we have, that more precise intelligence, tightens around that new belief. I am permanently unfinished. I am permanently a work in progress. And then slowly, without really anyone noticing how it happened, the healing journey itself becomes another identity, another pressure, another version of not being there yet. So these two Sundays, if you like, are twins. As mentioned last week, was about catching the departure, seeing the exact moment awareness leaves the body and the pattern claims the whole space. And tonight we're going to go one level deeper into what happens after the departure, into the identity that forms around the pattern, into the war with the self that begins the moment someone decides that what the nervous system does is who they are. Because the most advanced thing happening in consciousness work right now is not the removal of patterns. It's that recognition of what has never been touched by any pattern. Everything's evolving. The universe, programs, yourselves. And this is where the evolution is taking us. Before it was all about healing. And now it's about, well, what's more precise for some is locating that place within that's never been touched by anything. No pattern. It's just stillness, presence. Your true, authentic self, if you like. So let's bring in that awareness that was present before the pattern formed. There's something that remained. Even when every contradiction moved through. Let's bring in that awareness of the you that's been here the entire time, underneath the fear, underneath the fusion, underneath the years of believing. The protective response was the person. So we're going to make that visible, not as a philosophy. It's not about the mind, but as a direct experience in the body. Because the fear is not the problem. That fusion is the problem. And the you that has been fused with every pattern has never, not once, the real you, it's never been damaged by any of it. It's never been touched by any of it. It's never been influenced by any of it. So let's reveal that you. Your eyes are closed. Open your eyes right now. Look around you. Look at that external environment you have going on. It's what you've created so far. No judgment, just observing it. We're dynamic individuals in a dynamic universe. We can change anything. Once we receive the awareness, which equals awakening, just feel your body right now. Where is it right now, this moment? Not as an ideal of presence, but a direct physical reality. Feel that pressure underneath the legs. How the breath already moves by itself. Feel the jaw holding whatever maybe it's holding for the remains of the week. Feel your chest. Maybe it's still subtly organizing around the unfinished, the unresolved, the thing still waiting for a conclusion that hasn't even arrived yet. Feel it. Almost immediately, something becomes visible. The body, it never left this moment, not once, not last Sunday, not any of the Sundays before. The body, which is the one thing we know is real, it's physical. We have our senses, we're here, we're in it. Everything else is in the mind. The body's been here the entire time, still, solid, present. Well, another awareness ran ahead into prediction, rehearsal, replay, imagine futures, emotional preparation for things that never arrived the way the mind rehearsed them anyways. The body stayed. So awareness left. And somewhere in that leaving, the pattern that ran we classified it. We called it identity. So this is what tonight's going to finish for you as we take a breath in. And the other thing is, most people never realize how exhausting that becomes. It's not because something's wrong with them, because the nervous system learned movement as protection. So someone checks the phone again after already checking it 30 seconds earlier. Or someone replays a conversation in bed, hoping the next replay will finally create relief. Or someone searches for another insight, another breakthrough, another aha moment that's going to change them completely. Or maybe there's another explanation that will finally settle the nervous system completely. And you know, what's the behind all this? So we keep working on ourselves because the system, subtle, but it quietly believes peace only arrives after every contraction disappears. Well, that's a pretty tall order. In other words, after every distortion and filter that we have leaves. We have trillions and trillions. That's why this work, I don't go into, okay, let's tackle your relationships. Let's tackle that filter, because it's highly inefficient. Instead, what we do is we shift to a whole new version of ourselves. That version's not so new, by the way. We uncover a more authentic version of ourselves. That's much better terminology. That's what we do here. We uncover a more authentic version of ourselves. And that doesn't require that we have to try and tackle every distortion we have. Because when that more authentic version comes in, spherically, all areas of our life shifts into more a precise moment, a clear transmission from that other intelligence. So going back to the perspective of that we're always a work in motion, we're always healing something. This is where the exhaustion deepens, because that healing journey itself starts becoming another identity structure. So just breathe in, notice your spine. Come into your sphere, that center point behind the eyes. Notice the other sphere around the body. Everything's in alignment. You're here right now. So there's a moment when awareness starts seeing something most people never really notice it clearly enough. But the nervous system reacts first. That's why I keep bringing in about, let's cultivate, fine tune, if you like, these other senses that we have. Start to be able to be aware of our body, how it's communicating to us. So since the nervous system always reacts first, it's communicated to us through how our physical symptoms, whether the jaw firms slightly, or the stomach tightens, gathers, or the chest starts to prepare. The body always organizes around protection before any language even forms. So then a half a second later, the identity arrives and says, oh, this is me. This is my anxiety. This is my issue. This is what I'm like. So tonight we're going to bring that timing more visible for you as we breathe in. So we start to be clear that, oh, the nervous system contracted first, and then the story claimed ownership afterwards. That changes everything. Because suddenly a person realizes they may have spent years building an identity around protective nervous system reactions that were originally designed only to help the system survive difficult experiences. Now, some people might refer this to being called overthinking. May have been just a system trying to create certainty before pain arrived. Or what's been called hypervigilance may have been the system trying to maintain orientation in unpredictable environments. We humans, we don't like unpredictable environments. We like to know. We like familiarity. Even if those environments aren't that healthy for us. But the unknown, we don't do well with that. Actually, there's a whole reason behind that. Maybe we'll do another Sunday meditation will be on why that is. Take a breath in. So maybe what's been called emotional monitoring may have been the system trying to prevent disconnection. Or what's been called spiritual failure may have simply been old projection still running long after the danger passed. So this pattern, it's not about judging it or thinking negative about it. It was just protection that became identity. Once the body truly sees that, something extraordinary starts really happening. Just breathe in right now. Notice your spine. I keep saying spine. Notice your spine. What happens is compassion starts to enter naturally. Not as indulgent. You're not bypassing, as that terminology is out there. Understanding. Because now awareness is no longer attacking the part of the system that once protected it. Feel the difference between that and the war that's been running internally. So maybe feel the tightening in the chest right now feel it without explaining it, without naming what caused it, without deciding what it means about who you are. Just with neutrality, observe the raw sensation itself, the contraction, the held quality, the place the body goes when it believes something needs managing. And now notice there's something here that can feel that. Contraction is content. The notice of the contraction is something else entirely. Observing the observer. That something else has ever left. It was here when the pattern first formed, It was here every time the pattern ran. It was simply collapsed into, absorbed by the story that arrived half a second later and called the whole thing identity. So feel what changes when the pattern is no longer treated like an enemy. That there's this contraction, and there's an awareness recognizing the contraction. So there's movement, and there's something deeper remaining present while the movement passes through. That gap's the doorway. So let's collapse also. The whole healing identity doesn't serve you. It's false. There's a hidden identity many people quietly build around healing itself, around evolving, becoming, around fixing, ascending, connecting. And of course, the derivatives, the stories that go from there. The relationship with well, let's really just go for it. Relationship with God. All of that. It's all created from this pattern. Around this finally arriving at the perfected version of themselves that no longer reacts. And it's just what's happened with people. And at first, the journey feels meaningful. And so we go in it with anticipation, with hope that this healing journey is essential. But eventually, and just review your own past, you don't have to take my word for it, but eventually something exhausting starts appearing underneath it all. The finish line keeps moving. Every reoccurring trigger becomes evidence. Every difficult emotion becomes evidence. Every contraction becomes evident that more work is still needed before peace, before connection is finally allowed. And slowly the nervous system, which is that more precise intelligence than the mind, begins organizing around a painful assumption. I am permanently unfinished. Feel what that does to the body. The healing path itself becomes another pressure system. The nervous system can't fully relax inside. And this is where the deeper deprogramming, that's what we're doing here, by the way, at the Unjikao, happens tonight. What if, let's just put that out there for you. What if recurring activation is not proof you failed? What if the pattern running simply means the nervous system learned repetition long before awareness learned how to remain present during activation? I'm going to say that again. What if the pattern simply running means your nervous system learned repetition long before your awareness understood how to remain present during these activations, during these setbacks that many feel? What if freedom was never becoming a superhuman without any patterns, distortions, filters? What if actually freedom is awareness? This is true empowerment, by the way. What if freedom is awareness remaining present, neutral, while the pattern appears without collapsing completely inside it? Yeah, I'm doing the 2 weeks right now, the 2-week frequency meditation, noticing Sunday and the 2 weeks, they run parallel messages. That's what this 2 weeks is all about. Becoming aware. Revealing that stillness, which is untouched by any distortion, any contraction, any challenge in density. Once that comes in, creating, manifesting, effortless. And that changes also the entire architecture of healing. It's true empowerment. And no matter what goes on, you can locate that position where you're untouched. So now healing is no longer the elimination of filters, programs, contractions. Healing becomes awareness remaining present during contraction. Once the body feels that directly, the nervous system starts to feel that. Something enormous starts relaxing. This is what all humans suffer with, by the way. It's subtle, it's ingrained in us. It's a mass consciousness program. The war with the self. It starts to soften. That endless self-monitoring softens. The constant spiritual accounting softens. Just that. I see it so clearly. That subtle self-rejection softens. Because the system no longer then treats every activation, every experience you have, every thought you have as evidence of failure. Just take a breath in right now with that. And so if you're one of those, which you are, or you've spent years showing up for themselves, doing the work, going to the sessions, reading the books, the events, the gurus, the latest technique. And still, those patterns came back. The distortions came back. You reacted instead of responded. And that conclusion that arrived automatically was, Oh, I haven't done enough. I haven't gone deep enough. There's still something I gotta clear. This is, where a lot of teachers out there, call them what you want. This is how they hook you. Got to keep coming back. You're never going to be finished. You're never going to have that inner approval. So keep coming back for more sessions. Keep coming to my next event. Keep coming. Because there's still something broken underneath all of that. Just feel that, how that resonates in your body right now. We're clearing that. We deprogramming that. Everything I do here, my job is to be out of a job. My job is for one day you call me up and go, I'm good, Rob. I've got my own navigation system. I got my own access. Thanks a lot for the guidance, but you're done. Great. That's what I want. So breathing in and coming into this, that conclusion of you never really arriving, always something needing healing. What if that conclusion was the problem, not the pattern? What if the pattern was simply a learned response and the suffering was never the pattern itself, but the identity that formed around it, the moment, awareness, disappeared inside it? Just come back into your spine right now. Observe your inner environment. What's that atmosphere like? How has it changed since we first got on this call? Feel the body sitting here without needing to become different first. Feel the breath moving without achievement attached to it. The room around you holding exactly what's here. Just notice what starts happening when awareness no longer turns every contraction, distortion into identity. Something softens naturally. The nervous system no longer is constantly scanning, needing to treat every emotional movement like proof something's wrong. You get release. The body no longer needs to live inside permanent self-correction. And the old patterns might still appear, but awareness remains. Contraction may still move through the nervous system, but awareness remains. Fear may still arise, but awareness remains. Feel what that actually means right now, not as a philosophy, not as a mental exercise, but as a physical experience in the body, in this room, in this moment. The breath is still moving. The weight of your body is still here. Something's present that's been present through every contraction, every distortion that's ever moved through this system. It was never touched by any of it. It was simply collapsed into, claimed by the story that arrived half a second after the nervous system. Well, that's something that's here right now, underneath whatever's moving, underneath whatever has been calling itself you. That stillness, that intelligence, that authentic self. And then slowly the body will start learning something entirely different. The nervous system will be it's deprogramming. It's learning. Not perfection, not endless healing, not spiritual flawlessness. It's just remaining. Remaining connected to the body while it certainly exists. Remaining present. Remaining present while discomfort moves through. Remaining aware without escaping, abandoning yourself. The second activation appears. That's the shift. Not destroying the pattern. That's the same pattern that we just discussed. But no longer disappearing completely inside it. That's true empowerment, where you can stand neutral. We live in density. We live in a reality of duality. Hot, cold, good, bad, dark, light. So it's not about, well, we got to get rid of one side. It's about being completely centered. That's why we use our spine. We use our spheres, coming to the present moment. We're completely centered and we don't move. Everything else orbits around us. Most people orbit around everything else. True empowerment. It's being solid, neutral. And what happens after that is where the manifestation, the creation gets in, the co-creation gets in. Because realities are orbiting around you. You start creating those realities. Very different than the other position where we're going into everybody else's realities, getting hijacked. Not very empowered there. You can feel it right now, can't you? Taking a breath in. So once the nervous system, the body feels that, it's effortless. There'll be very deep changes. Again, effortless. Not what we've been doing. That constant scrutiny, that vigilance, where we are on the path. Gosh, that's a lot of effort. That's why we're all tired out there. What happens though then is that the old identity loses authority. That whole healing war softens. The nervous system stops treating itself like that permanent problem to solve. And here's something even behind the scenes that's going on. Many of the patterns the nervous system formed, they weren't mistakes. They're actually intelligent responses to environments that once required vigilance, preparation, emotional monitoring, or certainty to maintain stability. The body adapted, awareness adapted, identity adapted. And then what happened over time, those adaptations stopped feeling temporary and started feeling personal. That's why the pattern feels so convincing. It's been rehearsed for years, sometimes, not sometimes, many times decades, lifetimes. The system learned to survive through repetition. So thoroughly, that repetition began feeling like self. You get it? As we breathe in, come to our spheres. We're just here right now, this very second. But survival and identity are not the same thing. And once that difference becomes embodied, felt directly in the body, not just understood in the head, the whole relationship with healing changes. The nervous system no longer needs to panic every time contraction appears. Every time you get it, quote unquote, wrong. I blew up at the teller at the shopping store, or this woman cut me off and I screamed at her, or I yelled at my kid. Whatever it is, whatever we're constantly beating ourselves up for, whatever we're constantly doing, that self-rejection. Awareness no longer needs to disappear into every fear, every anticipation, every emotional movement that passes through the body. What happens in that stillness, something much more stable begins emerging underneath the movement itself. It's not control, it's not perfection, it's presence. That stillness is only ever located in presence. That's actually, call it what you want, a portal, whatever, access. For me, that's access. That is my access presence to that other intelligence that's so phenomenal. I can't even fathom a glimmer of it. Is so beyond my pay grade that the only thing I do know, it's got my back. We're doing it together. It's really great when that becomes your spiritual journey. Not this self-rejection, but you know at a deep level, way beyond the mind, that there's this intelligence. I call it intelligence. I can't define it any other way. Whenever I try and define it, I limit it, and it's unlimited. So I've arrived at, well, it's intelligence. That when you understand this intelligence is you, you're it. And this whole quote unquote awakening process is with precision. The body was never asking for transcendence. The body, again, it's that more precise intelligence. The body was asking for awareness to remain present enough to stop escaping every time discomfort appeared. Think about that. How often do we escape the second there's any form of discomfort? And we escape many ways. Oh yeah, there's more sensational ways, the drugs, the sex, the more destructive ways, but we escape food, social media, TV. It's actually endless. Relationships. And that's the only thing that the nervous system, the body, because it's its natural state, was ever interested in. Not a different self, not a healed self, not a self without programs, just this awareness here, remaining in this present moment, centered, with everything orbiting around you. And again, that's true empowerment. And then going back to energy, or energy levels from that place, for some of you, first time in a very, very long time. Rest, real internal rest. Probably the nervous system finally stepped down. The mind stepped down. that rest finally becomes possible. That serenity, that completion finally becomes possible. And it's not because you finally healed whatever that might be. It's not because life stopped moving. But it's because awareness remained while life moved through the body. So you've never been that pattern. You've never been that distortion. It's just that the pattern's been moving through you. And although you may not be aware of it, and the you, the capital Y, has never been anything less than the whole, regardless of the stories we've told ourselves. But that underlying intelligence that is only accessed through stillness, it's always been here. It's always been full. It's never been touched by anything, nor will it ever be touched by anything. So that's what we're doing here. We're moving into that position. I mentioned fusion, but the fusion is the issue. And the you, the capital U, capital Y in you, that's been fused with every distortion pattern, it's never been touched by it. It's never been damaged by it. There's no need to heal it. It's perfect. So that's where we're going to start locating ourselves from. And with that, I'm going to leave everybody here. Try and stay here a little bit longer on your own so you sign off just between you and that you. I'm just the MC. So it's always good to spend time on your own, receiving that awareness. And I'll see everybody next week. I hope you all have a beautiful week.